Hi everyone, I'm live to answer your questions and show you a little bit of behind the scenes in the course content, and just so you have an idea of what it looks like and what you get behind the scenes. Not just the main thing is actually that what we're doing right now is a very big part of the course. So having the live Q&As and live coaching calls throughout the course is really where we bring the community together, and it is all about that sort of engagement with each other, but also in the process. And I think that a lot of people have found that is how they get to know each other. When everyone's on the call together, it's really fun because everyone's talking and waving at each other. And it means that if there's any questions that come up off the back of maybe another question, then I'm there to answer it before maybe your next workout or whatever. So we do weekly live calls, and sometimes I do extras as well, because if I see a theme happening in the group, I want to pop in and sort of, sometimes it's easier just to put the camera on and demonstrate an exercise to help people out. And that's really what has worked really well for the last two groups that have gone through this. The first group was the testing group, and then the last group was the first official launch of the Pull-Up Academy. So I just thought that having this live Q&A would give you a really good idea of what type of setup is in the group, and also getting people on the call. And I've had a few questions submitted in advance, which is great. But if you have any while you're on the call at all, just let me know, and you can comment, and there is a little bit of a lag on the comments, so if I don't get to it right away, if I don't respond, it's just because the software that I use for these videos, it just takes a while for me to get it. The interwebs kind of slow things down there. So I'm going to wait just a few seconds here, or a few minutes, not a few minutes, a few seconds, to see if a few other people can join us live. And plus it gives me a chance to pop back into the group and see what types of questions we have. So I always find it interesting to see, what people's struggles are, and, really where they've been at, and what the biggest frustration is in their particular journey. And a lot of them are, in a good way, fairly common. And having, I think, where are we here? Sometimes just having a goal and a clear path to get there is really what's helpful, and that's oftentimes where we're basically struggling. There's so many plans or options out there that it's hard to really narrow in on one path. And I think sometimes it takes so long, as many of you will already know, it takes a long time and a lot of commitment to get your first pull-up. And obviously then if you want to add reps, it can take more and more time. So what it is sometimes is that you feel like you're neglecting other things while you're working on this goal, or you're maybe unknowingly affecting your training for your pull-up by doing too many other things, or doing too high intensities or volumes, and it's interfering with your progress. Maybe the recovery isn't optimal, maybe your technique isn't optimal, and it's basically all of the picture that really comes together. And that's why I went about making this a full body program, because I had it in my mind that based on what people had said, is this like just a pull-up add-on plan, or like, is that enough? And I don't think it is, because I think that pull-ups are, first of all, full body exercise. You have to have a full body strength, and you have to have a lot of upper body strength, and that often is lacking. But in addition to that, having your whole body work together, but not so that you're burning yourself out in deadlifts, but that your body works and your movement pattern is working, your core, your stability, your shoulders, all of these things sort of matter in getting that pull up. I think that was a question, actually, just how are the workouts basically structured? Are they like upper lower split? Tara had asked, for example, are the body part, no, they're full body. So you have 3 main full body strength workouts. And over the course of the, initial months of the course, you go from working on foundations, and I'll show you in a second, behind the scenes what that in phase 1 is all about, working on the things that perhaps have been either overlooked, or they have, been neglected in a while. Maybe it's never been a part of your programming to include accessory things to help, or just even have the awareness in other exercises, how your alignment and how your shoulder mobility and stability is, basically how they move, your shoulders, how everything's moving, and really engaging the upper back. Because I think let me just go into the grip here, because where was it? I think it was, so Terry had said that she's struggling toward her pull-up. She feels like her main problem, although she's been weight training for a while, I don't have much back strength. Even though I'm doing back exercises, I also never feel soreness, or much going on in my back, almost like other muscles are taking over. And that makes total sense to me, because this is often, it's not always the case. Sometimes it just has to do with the frequency and intensity that you're training in different ways, but it can also be that your arms are doing all of the work, or not all of the work. Obviously, that can't say that for sure, but it sounds like getting the upper back doing more is really important there. So you actually feel the difference, and you don't necessarily always feel the muscles, burning or anything like that. And you don't, like, soreness isn't an indication of whether you're doing an exercise right or wrong, in terms of soreness the next day. But it certainly can help us. Sometimes we feel reassured that we're working the right muscles, but it's not always the case. So that's really what phase 1 is about. But over the course of the course, is that the amount of times per week that we train at higher intensity will change. So the pull-ups will be maybe twice a week, and then they go to 3 times a week, and then the volume sort of bulks out, and you get much more training to do. And that's when sometimes the workouts can become a little bit longer, which I'm going to actually address that in one of the questions as well. But one thing just to highlight is that it is really flexible in terms of, because it's such a small group, it's very easy for you to say, hey Marianne, my workouts are too long, or I'm having a hard time getting through the rest of the workout because there's a lot of pull-up work at the minute. But say you're somebody who has a pull-up bar at home, then it might be more possible to split things up so that you're not doing it all in one day, but that you can spread it out on a 4th day and do that way. So it's easy to kind of modify the workouts when it's a small group, so everyone gets to basically have it tailored almost to what they have available. And while there's a basic structure and a template that I feel is a good place to start, I have no issue with helping people modify. And most of the exercises have alternatives, which obviously is a good thing. So let me see, I'll go to these questions. I'll keep on a structure, because sometimes I go off, in case you hadn't noticed, sometimes I go off on a bit of a tangent and forget what it was I started. So, okay. Well, I think a good one to start with is, who is this course designed for? So it's for people who have some training experience, like weight training experience. So then what I mean by that is not beginners. Pull-up is really not a good goal to have if you're just starting out in your training goal or your training journey. So I always like to have people who have maybe 6 months of training under their belt. Now that might not be in the past 6 months, but within the last 2 years, because that means you have muscle memory and it means that you have a better starting point and obviously a better ending point within this time frame. It's not really realistic to say if you haven't trained in a year and a half, then you're going to achieve your pull-up. It might happen, but as a longer way to go is you're starting off from that point. So I think it works best if you've recently trained, for the sort of 6 months. It has been strength training, so you're more familiar with some of the movements. Every single exercise has a video tutorial. I'll actually show you, you have a summary video, which is very short, it's about a minute long, and then down below you've written out, and each video or each exercise pops up into a longer tutorial for you to watch. And then in there I give you alternatives or ways to modify exercises and things like that. But I try to keep those as short as I can, so maybe from 3, or sometimes they're like 1 minute long, sometimes they're 4 minutes long. So it just depends on the exercise. So if you're already doing like millions of pull-ups already, and I don't think you'd be interested in this course, but if that is you and you're wanting to keep improving, I know that Yasmin, she is now working. She was doing the testing group, and she can do like 12 chin-ups at this time. So she's working on basically just advancing that and continuing to do all sorts of challenging things. She's now working on her muscle up as well. So there are the occasion where that happens, but most people, I think, who would benefit from this are people who are trying to get their first one or their first few, or get better at the ones that they can do. So maybe you're at 1 or 2 consistently, but maybe they're bad. You kind of feel like they're really sluggish and you really want to improve the efficiency of your pull-ups so that you can then build more. This is perfect for you. It's perfect for you if, for example, Jenny from the Pull-Up Academy 1.0, she hadn't trained consistently in strength for quite a while, and she's been sort of off and on, but she knew going into it that she probably wouldn't get her pull-up by the end of it, but her goals turned into more about consistency and getting that consistency of training her upper body and everything sort of coming together. So she's much closer to getting her pull-up than she was when she started. I know that some other people, Anne-Marie, for example, didn't really care so much about her pull-up. She's now got that, but her main goal was, again, getting back into strength training again after an injury and really just working again on her push-ups. And I think across the board, everyone improved their push-ups. Upper body in general just increased, strength-wise. So that's really who this course is for. And I also think as well it's worth saying that if you're a very independent trainer, like trainee, and you want to, take the program and go and work by yourself, I mean, you can obviously do that, but I do encourage you that the group aspect of this really is very rewarding. And I think that having these sort of calls and being involved in those once a week, or just popping into the group to leave I have like a training thread usually in the group, and people will like write how their workouts went, and people can see how everyone's getting on. So there is that, getting more involved, because that's all basically part of the course. That's really, from my point of view as the coach, ironically, it's less for me about the actual program. It's about how you're modifying and how you're getting it to meet you where you're at, and so sometimes that requires some back and forward. If you're not the sort of person who likes being on Facebook a lot, that's also fine. You can email me and I'm happy to help. Let's see. So this sort of leads into covering like what's included and how basically do the things that are included help you get your pull up. That all depends on really where you're starting. It depends on basically what you need from this, the things that you get. So obviously there's the program, and it is designed to basically get you stronger, get you working more on your upper body and movement and focusing on motor control and proper form, but then also building up your capacity to do good reps with assistance and gradual increases in intensity. So the effort, the exertion it requires to do the rep, that will gradually increase. If that's built on faulty movement, then it kind of defeats the purpose. You just get stronger at moving less efficiently. So in my mind, there's not much point in that. So we try to really make the movement pattern smooth, and then we kind of load it again, like with volume and how much the progression and load. So how much assistance you're using, whether it's a band or whether it's without a band but using partials and things. So there's obviously the program, but then you have the group calls, and that is about helping you tailor. And it doesn't have to be on the call that happens, because as part of the group, it's being small and I don't really miss much that happens there. That if you have a question or you're not sure, I don't really like this exercise, is there something else I can do instead? I'm not really sure how it's going to work with my equipment that I have available, or when the gym's really busy, this isn't usually free. Is there something else that I can have up my sleeve to do in that day? And so those are really the quick answers that you need to get the most from the program. And then there's the feedback that you get in the other forum. So it's not on a Facebook page. There's actually a separate forum on the site where you can post videos for me to basically come in and give you some feedback on how your technique is, and whether you're doing things efficiently or not so efficiently, and how you can make it more efficient. And so things like deadlifts and your push-ups, squats, everything that's in the program, you can send me a video of, and I will be able to assess those. And that usually happens on a Friday. Sometimes I get some videos through the week, but it's Feedback Friday. And for anyone who wants to participate in that, is happy to put their videos in the forum. It's also helpful for other people to see your feedback as well as, vice versa. But if you're not happy about putting your video up there for other cadets to see, then you can always email me your video instead, and I'll look at that. So you just use a free service like YouTube or Dropbox, Google Drive or whatever, and then you send the link, or you post the link in the forum for the video to embed. And it's very straightforward, but that's a hugely valuable resource to have in this course, because it just takes a few tweaks sometimes. I say lift your sternum more, or bring your shoulder blades back, or widen your grip a little bit and see how that helps. And it just makes such a difference for so many people. So I can't really highlight that enough. I'll go on and on about it too as well. And so at the very start of the course, that is a really active part, especially in the course or at the beginning, because we do like a baseline measurement or assessment. So if you choose like 5 exercises and you want to basically remeasure them every phase, and really just to be able to see where you're progressing. So that's always a valuable part. So hopefully that kind of gives you the picture of how these things will help you get there. Having the support aspect, having the questions, the programs which are basically end up pretty tailored to you, then that helps you along your journey, and it makes it more relevant to you. It makes it work, and that's what we want. So another question across, not just this time around, but the last time, has been, can you build your pull-up? So build strength and lose weight at the same time. And the answer is, it depends. And maybe a better question might be like, should you? Or, so there are some times and some people who can build strength and lose fat at the same time. But it works best in a very small deficit. So not a huge calorific, is that right? Deficit. And you have to know what your maintenance is. So whereabouts in your calorie sort of intake and versus activity, that you stay the same, and then you can adjust that from there. But last time round we had a guest in, because we have I try to get a few industry experts in to talk to us, and Lee Peel was in one time, and we had a great talk about nutrition, and obviously fat loss is her thing, and she was talking about just when you're focusing on something like your pull-up, then focusing on something else like fat loss is probably not the optimal goals. That's probably not compatible in most cases. And so her advice was not to go into a surplus, to work at maintenance or slightly below, but not a huge deficit, and not obviously a surplus, because then you're going to be gaining weight. Mind you, if you're training as well, chances are, depending on your genetics, that might end up being some muscle, which might actually benefit you. So there is that fine balance there. It is certainly possible to lose fat and build strength at the same time if you're more of a beginner. So just sort of bear that in mind. But most times it's not a good goal to have at the same time as you're working on a very specific strength goal. But you can't, just on a side note, obviously you can build your pull-up and not have lost a lot of weight. If you don't have a lot of weight to lose, then you can build that strength up and still achieve your pull-ups that way. Let me see. I think I heard a comment. Oh, hello, Tara's here. Okay, so Cara, I see the can and I see the Ara. So can I work out from home and not the gym? Yes, absolutely. The only things that you need is, I'm pretty sure you probably have a collection of kettlebells and things, but if you're at home, then a collection or an option for some kind of resistance work, so kettlebells or a dumbbell, if you have a sandbag even, that works. I do recommend having something to do inverted rows on. These are a really important exercise in building up your pull-up strength and your upper back strength, and we use that a lot through the program. So whether or not it's something like where these dip bars here, for example, or you could have a door on a a TRX or suspension trainer, or even something like parallettes, I think there's that equalizer or something that's similar, or something like that to do inverted rows on. Or you could makeshift something like a broomstick across two chairs, do your inverted rows that way. And obviously the big thing to have is some kind of pull-up bar or somewhere to do them. Now, Susan from Pull-Up Academy 1.0, she didn't have a pull-up bar in her house, but she had a park across the road, nearby at least, that she could do her pull-up work there, and then she sort of fashioned her workouts so that she did all her pull-up work at the park, and then she did the rest at home where she had a barbell and kettlebells, I think, or dumbbells or something. So yes, most people, I think quite a few people from the course did them at home, just had kettlebells and things. So as long as you have the stuff to do your body weight work and your upper body especially, then you'll be grand. So obviously, being that I have a lot of home workout gear here, so I'm kind of tailoring it that way with that in mind, because I knew a lot of people who might have followed my workouts before would be training from home. And it's obviously easy enough to modify to, use a barbell instead, or, if you're at gym, then it's very easy to work around. So that means that's the equipment covered. As I said, the workouts are full body. Duration wise, they basically start off as around 45 minutes. I think Valerie had said, and I think I found the same thing up until phase 3. At the beginning of phase 3, I was training along with everyone, but I was away for a lot of the summer, so that didn't happen. So I didn't get the rest of the course done. But for me, the workouts lasted around 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the extent of warm up and cool down that I did. So that just depended and also the amount of recovery that I needed between sets, especially once the pull-ups become a little more intense. The sort of practice becomes more time-consuming. But over time, so say like by phase 3 and 4, your workouts could take longer than an hour. But as I said in the group, I think it's really just worth highlighting this, that it doesn't have to take that long. So if you prefer something shorter than that, there's ways to work around the amount of volume that you have in one workout, so that you're still getting the same effect, but not doing quite as much that takes as long. So there's ways to do that. I definitely don't want to put anyone off by hearing that the workout could take an hour. I'm not a huge fan of long workouts, so certainly if it became too long, I'm happy to help you modify that. So let's see, what's the next question? I've answered that. So is nutrition covered, or what kind of approach is taken? Are there any advice or diet plans or anything? So like I said, in terms of the weight loss and things, I just encourage that sort of supportive of your goal nutrition. So thinking about, am I getting enough energy to do these workouts? Am I getting enough recovery to do these workouts? And if not, is there anything that we can address? But by and large, I don't spend a lot of time on that unless you have a specific question. And then if I don't know the answer, I get somebody who does, like getting Lee Peel on, or somebody who's in that area much more of an expert than me. So I do hope to have a nutrition expert in for this time as well. And it might be Lee again, but it could be just to address these types of things so that you're getting those answers as well. Because I realize that that's an important part. But we generally try to focus on kind of just the basics. And if something that you're doing, like a diet approach, is really working for you, then we don't fix anything if it's not broken. If you feel like maybe that's something that's affecting your ability to train and recover, then I encourage small tweaks that you could make, but not changing everything at once, because then that could affect your training even more, and then you'll not know what it was. So I am happy to cover it, but just in a more general sense, and on helping troubleshoot, or getting somebody like Lee on to talk about it in more detail. As a side note, right, so I'm upstairs in this room and it's really warm today. I don't know why. It's supposed to be fall, but I'm boiling in this room. I have a air conditioning box in the window, and through the summer I've just been in here bright red because I can't put the box on while I'm talking because it's loud. So I'm glad that this time round it's in this sort of cooler months, so I'll not be up here absolutely sweating while I'm on the calls and doing demonstrations and stuff in this room. It's just, or filming videos. So how to go about registering and what happens after you do. So it's fairly straightforward. When enrollment opens on Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, that's going to be early bird, start at early bird, and I'll post in the group here, but also I'll send out in an email the link to go to the enrollment page, and then you just click on the enroll button. There's several down the page, but when you click on that, you'll get taken then to the registration page, and it basically at the top it'll ask you, do you want to pay in installments? And if you do, you can go to a different page and click, and it takes you there. If not, you want to pay in one go, then that's where you register, and you do that by either PayPal or Stripe. So it's all straightforward. After that, you get taken back to basically a thank you page, and then it'll give you a link on what to do next. So you'll get taken to the cadet dashboard, which I'll show you in a minute, and then everything's easy to find. Early bird enrollment ends on Tuesday, so it's only open from Monday 9 a.m. until Tuesday the 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and then from then until Friday the 22nd at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, then that's the regular bird. So that is and the same thing happens with the regular bird. You know, you can have you can opt to pay in 2 installments or 1. And if you do need any other payment options, like, just reach out to me and we'll come up with something. I'm not going to leave anyone in the lurch, especially if you want to get your pull up. So I'm going to show you now. Pop in here. I'll go in here and screen share because I don't want this video to go on too long, especially since I'm rather warm. Now, where am I going? The cadet dashboard. How did I screen share the last time? Screen share. So as I said, when you come into your cadet dashboard, this is what it looks like. So first of all, you'd obviously do your welcome workshop down here, and then if we go in here, I'll take you there. This is how it's laid out really. So you have an intro page, and then you can begin your course. So this is basically a wee workshop that takes you through a few important things like orientating the site, which I'm basically doing now. And then you have this amazing amount of hidden treasures that takes you through the next 18 weeks of what to expect, each phase, and ways to basically look for improvements. So that's a nice visual of what to expect. Knowing your baseline, taking measurements is very important, so you know objectively that you're improving, and that's very important obviously to know that in between those times when progress isn't obvious or you feel like you're not really progressing day to day, that in the bigger picture you see that actually you are, because the numbers are saying so. Progression guide is really just me talking about my thoughts on progressions and things that will become more relevant as the course goes on. Best pull-up queue ever, and then that just takes you to your next steps and what to do. And that's this is what you'll have access to when you first enroll. The other things won't be available because I want everyone to have access to the course, the first phase, on the same day. So this allows everyone, the workshop when you first start, allows everyone to kind of get a feel for it, not be overwhelmed by the plan as well, and helps everyone get time to come into the community, say hello, and get started then together. And the first workouts will be released on Sunday, to give you time to look at them if you start your training on a Monday. So on a Sunday, that's going to be the 24th of September. So your workouts are in here. Strong foundations is where we start. So I'll pop in here and just show you how it's laid out. I'll go to workout 1. There's an intro here, but I'll go to workout 1 just to show you. As I said, there's one video at the top, which is about a minute long. So you get to see a silent demo of the exercises that are included in the workout. This gives you an idea of what they look like. Some people like to just look at that, but I do recommend going further down and getting your pop-up video here, which is a longer tutorial. So this one's basically just under 4 minutes, and that takes you through the essentials of the goblet squat, for example. And so everything has that. And then at the bottom, you have your training log, which I'll take you to now. And that is our everything. So you have place to write your scores, and there's coaching cues here. So it all basically is self-explanatory, and geared toward really just making it easy for you to do. Then obviously you'd have your community gate here. You'd go into the other Facebook page. You know, once you register, you get a different group. This is your resource library. So there's lots of additional articles in here, and sometimes the odd exercise. The exercise library as such is really just through your workouts. That's really the pop-up videos. But this takes you through different articles about how long to rest, adding sets, reps or both, choosing the best weight, supersets explained, and all this stuff. And your warm-up and cool-down are also in here. So I try to add to that through the time of the course. I might add to the workouts area as well, because there's the and more, and that's really any workshops that I decide to do. So there was a shoulder and upper back workshop that I did for the last group, and it's in there still, so I mean it's very useful. But if there's anyone else has a question, or there's some topic comes up that I think is going to be useful, then I will make a workshop about it too. The live coaching is now held just on the Facebook page. It ended up everyone was basically watching from there anyway, so this link just takes you to the new page as well, the live coaching. This one here is just this is like the best place in my opinion, because this is the forum and this is where you get to post your videos. So it'll be set up, it might be set up slightly differently. I might change it because it depends how many people there are. So if there's fewer people, I might actually leave it like this. So if you wanted to put video in here from your baseline for me to look at, then what would happen is you just post it, and I will, nothing's in here. I'll do a video here of how to do video, or how to submit videos. It's easy enough, but once you do, I'll be able to leave a reply and give you feedback. And as I said, if you didn't want to post it there, then you have the option to send it to me via email. And I said this is the best part because this part really does make a difference if you use it, and you use it regularly, even if it's just once per phase, to get my feedback on how you're getting on. Send me your pull-up progress, send me a squat, send me a deadlift. So many things that you can actually improve on while we're doing this course. And I know that even this, kettlebell swing, if you want me to look at your clean, there is a clean video and things in here, but these types of things are, kind of bonuses that you can work on. So in here is your logout, your account, and any saved stuff. And there's plenty of contact forms around the site in case you have a question. Submit a question is along the bar. So everything's fairly well laid out. And this is, let's see, back to the camera. I'm back. That is really the look behind the scenes, but as I said, the magic really happens in the group, and we spend, you get your content, you watch your videos, and then if you want to have questions, then obviously take them to me. So I'm going to just pop back in here to the group to see if there's any questions I didn't cover. So if you give me just a second. Anyone who's on, if you have any questions, you're just far away. But while I'm reading, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the workouts, the amount of workouts that you do, I think it did say that there's 3 strength workouts and 1 optional conditioning workout. So the main 3 are the strength ones. So covered that. I think that Kate had mentioned as well that, possibly something funky going on with her shoulder anatomy while she was trying to do her pull-ups. So obviously this is possibly something that can be addressed in the foundations phase and throughout with accessory movements and drills that really help iron out these sort of areas that don't allow us to do things as optimally as we possibly could. And I think, using that in conjunction with the feedback forum and getting, my feedback on your technique is going to really help smooth out those details, reassure you as well that, what's actually you're doing really well, and it's usually just very small tweaks that need to be made, and it's not like you have to scrap everything. So don't be afraid that posting a video you're going to have horrible, shocking form. It's very rarely that happens. So I think that just to reassure you, we do work a lot on the shoulder stability and scapular control, so how you're actually moving your muscles and things together. And then the final question, I think, just is really how much the course costs. And so we have the early bird, which is opened on Monday to Tuesday, and the one-off, the single payment. Now the train's going to go by, so I'll try to speak in between the horns. I don't think it's going to be any more. It's passing by. So the single payment for the early bird is $279, and then if you wanted to pay that in 2 installments, it's 2 monthly installments, so one and then a month later the other one of $169. And then if it's regular bird, which is from Tuesday at 6:01 p.m. Eastern time, then it's $299, or 2 payments of two payments of $179. So, but as I said, if you need another breakdown, say 3 payments, or whatever, then let me know and I'll figure something out for you. But obviously it's better if you can pay in one go, because you get the better discount that way. And the early bird is obviously the best. And for anyone in this group who stays around and is going to sign up, then on Sunday, I'm going to be in again, and I'm going to do a quick live then, and I'm going to hold a draw for everyone who is in this group who hasn't done the course, and I'm going to draw a name from the hat, and the prize is that you will get the course for the price of the last time, which is $199. So that's the regular bird from the last time. So that's quite a bit of a saving, but the last time it was the founding members, and it was the first time officially going through it. So, but you get the chance to win that. So I will draw some names, or one name out of a hat. Well, the hat that I generally use has been my candle, so I'll put names in there, because throughout the course there's a draw every phase for a 30-minute one-to-one call with me to brainstorm, how things are going. So it's that extra sort of one-to-one, and you can use it during the course, or you can wait till you finish the course and you want to basically follow up afterward. So you can have up to 6 months after the course to use that call, and I'll send you a scheduling link to do that, or to arrange that whenever it suits you. So every phase we do a draw, or one person from the group will win that. And that's what we do. So hopefully you'll join me on Sunday and hear whoever has won the big discount off the course. In the meantime, I'll still be in the group over the weekend, and if you have any other questions, or if you know anyone who would also like to join, then by all means let them know about this group, let them know about the site, get them signed up, to the waiting list, so that they can know when early bird opens. If you are a member of any other group that is dealing with strength training, or people who have interest in that, then bring along your friends, because it's really good to have extra support and accountability through the process. Okay, here we have. I got getting your message now, Kate. So we need to stay pretty on track with the program. It seems like I went through bigness and couldn't always get the weekly workouts in, or do we have a bit of flexibility here? Yeah, so what had happened before is that, a few people are still finishing the course from before, and you have as much time as I'm basically not relaunching the course immediately after this. So you do, basically I'm having a baby in March, so I don't think I'll be running it in March. That means that you have probably a good 6 months after the course to still have access to all the videos and all the resources. The only thing you won't have access to is obviously the live calls. They're not going to be going on like that afterward, and the feedback as well. So if you did, say, miss a week here or there, it usually doesn't make a huge difference. What the other group had found was there's still people who are working a couple of weeks behind, and they're still in the group, and the other people are still in the group. So the Facebook page still stays going, and then you still have your friends in there. So there's a way to continue to go or catch up if you need to. And the other thing is worth saying that in phases 1 and 2, the program is 4 weeks long. And then in phase 3 and 4, the program is 5 weeks long, because the program will include a deload week. And the deload week is really, it can be any point in the phase, but most people will do that at the start and introduce a new phase easily, or or even do that at the end. But you can miss your deload week, so you can basically just do an easier first week rather than the deload week, and that would basically make up for a week that you lost. Some people have done that if they had already taken some time off, so they didn't really need a deload, so they could get back into it. So we're not going to leave it. I don't really like the idea of leaving you behind. Like, you'll still be there for the calls or be able to catch up. And if at any point you feel like you're too far behind, just let me know, okay? And I'll help you figure out the path to basically get back on track. So it does seem like, yes, you have to like keep up with it, but in reality it doesn't work that way. I'm all too aware that life happens, and with my own training, like a whole summer, it's basically I probably did on average about 2 workouts a week, so I can't exactly say you must do all these workouts on time. So hopefully that reassures you. And if you think of anything else, like I'm all as well for like improving the course and how it works. So I'm always looking at feedback and things. So, but this is generally how it's worked, and that's I think a good thing, to kind of be flexible and not too strict on things, but making sure that people are on track and supporting everyone who's on the journey, and seeing it as that, like, we're all on our own journeys. So I am so warm right now in this room. It's like, must be like 25 degrees Celsius in here. So that's really it. I mean, I've been on here for 50 minutes, so hopefully I have covered everything. I think I have, but as I said, I'll be back on Sunday anyway. If you want to see or know anything else, I can answer in the group, but also on here as well. And I will thank you all for showing up. I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to I'm really looking forward to getting started again in the course and helping the next group through it. So I look forward to chatting to you more in the group, and have a wonderful weekend. So, chat to you soon. Bye.